Hello everyone, welcome to Godly Play again. It is so good to have you join the circle with me today. Whenever it is that you're watching this and wherever you are when you're watching this, it's good to have you part of the circle. I wonder when you're watching this. I wonder where you are when you're watching this. I wonder who else is with you, who you've brought to the circle today. Well, whenever and wherever and whoever you've brought with you, I'm glad you're part of the circle today. I'm glad you're able to join us. Thank you. Well, let's start to get ready. There was once someone who did such amazing things and said such amazing things that people began to follow him. And one day, they just had to ask him, "Who are you?" And he said, "I am the light." I see the love of God in you. The light of Christ comes shining through, and I am blessed to be with you, O holy child of God. Well, the light couldn't stay in just that place, in just that time. So the light changed. The light changed. The light changed so it could be in all places, at all times, where you are today and where I am today. Let's find today on the calendar first. This is a calendar of the church year. Oops, some of these arrows moved. There we go. Okay. This is the great mystery of Christmas. Here is the great mystery of Easter. And remember this day from fairly recently, the red day? Red from the hot fire of Pentecost. Well, today, oops, it's hard to hold this up and not have the arrows move. We'll do our best. Today, we are moving to the second of these green days. We are now in the third Sunday after Pentecost, and that is still at the beginning of this long season of green and growing days. Sometimes the church calls it ordinary time. And it goes and continues all the way to Advent. Wow, big season. And we're now up. Oops. See, this happens when you move the story, when you move the calendar. We'll do our best. And today's story can be found in the Bible. It is the story of creation. It is the story at the beginning of everything. And it can be found in the book of Genesis. Genesis means beginning, and this story is the beginning of everything. This story is from the first chapter of Genesis. So it's the beginning of everything. If you want to read it up in the Bible, beginning of Genesis. Well, are we ready for a story now? Usually, when we're in a circle in the same room, in the Godly Playrooms at church, we ask you to watch us when we get the story out from the shelves. Because then in work time, you might want to get the story out yourself and work with it. We can't do that here because I have some of the stories at home and we don't have the whole room around available to us. But I wonder if you know where today's story is found in the Godly Playroom. I wonder when we get back to church, when we can be in the Godly Playroom ourselves right there, I wonder if you'll be able to find today's story. I wonder if it's in the same place in the two Godly Playrooms we have. Well, today it's right here, so let's get ready. Have you ever received a big, big present? Have you ever given a big, big present? Some gifts are so big that they're hard to notice. They're hard to see. Some gifts are so big that you have to go back to the beginning or a little before the beginning. In the beginning, just make sure I can get this on. In the beginning there was nothing. Except a big smile. But there was no one there to see it. On the first day, God created light. Not just the light in a candle or a light bulb, but the light that all light comes from. The light, all the light that is light. When God saw the light, God said, "It is good." And that was the end of the first day. On the second day, God created water. Not just the water in a glass of water or your tap or a sprinkler system. Not just the water in a lake or a river. Not just all the water that is in the ocean or that falls from the sky, but all the water that is water. All the water that water comes from. And this is the firmament. It separated the water above from all the water below. When God saw the water above and all the water below, God said, "This is good." And that was the end of the second day. On the third day, God created dry land. He separated the dry land from the water, and he gave us all the green and growing things. When God saw the dry land and the green and growing things, God said, "This is good." And that was the end of the third day. On the fourth day, God created day and night and gave us a way to count time. The great light of the day, the light that rules the day, the sun. God gave us the light that rules the night, the moon and all the stars. When God saw the day and the night and our way to count time, God said, "It is good." And that was the end of the fourth day. On the fifth day, God gave us the gift of the creatures that fly in the air. Not just the birds, but all the creatures that fly. And God gave us the gift of all the creatures that swim in the water. All of them. When God saw the creatures that fly in the air and the creatures that swim in the water, God said, "It is good." And that was the end of the fifth day. On the sixth day, God gave us the gift of the creatures that walk on the land, those that use many legs to walk, and those that use 2 legs to walk, like you and like me. This was the day that God put God's countenance, God's image, within each of us. When God saw the creatures that walk with many legs and the creatures that walk with 2 legs, God said, "It is good." And that was the end of the sixth day. On the seventh day, God rested and gave us a gift of a day to rest and remember the gifts of all the other days, all of them. This day is so special that there's nothing here to show, but you can put an image of whatever you do to remember the gifts that God gave us. Where you go, what you do to rest and remember the gifts. It might be a backyard with a tree. It might be somewhere in your room. It might be a park with a river. It might be something at church. I don't know where you go to remember. I don't know what place is special to you. Only you know that. What I do know is that this day is so special that Jewish people mark it with 2 candles, 2 special candles. And Christian people mark it with a cross. So I wonder what day, what gifts of what day are most important to you. I wonder what day is most special to you. I wonder if there's any day here that we could leave out and still have everything we need. I wonder, as you go about the rest of today, as you go through the rest of your week, I wonder where you might see some of these days. I wonder where you might see some of these gifts. Well, are you ready for a blessing as we leave our circle today? If you are. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord look upon you with favor and give you peace. Amen. Thank you again for joining the circle today. Hope to see you next week.